Khorasan, located in northeastern Iran near the Afghan border, is regarded as one of the origins of ancient civilizations. Makhunik, a little village that appears to have been plucked right out of a fairy tale, is located in the southern section of this region. Some people say this town is thousands of years old. This one-of-a-kind location has sparked widespread interest, not only for its remarkable architectural elements and historical value, but also for its intriguing nickname, the Dwarf Village. This title is derived from a combination of archaeological discoveries, local tales, and peculiar architectural aspects that have prompted many people to speculate about the unusual physical qualities of its ancient residents. Deeply ingrained in popular culture, this legend describes a time when Makhunik's residents were thought to be small people who lived in distinctively small houses that looked to be sized just right for them. The physical attributes that are ascribed to the beings in these narratives are undeniably intriguing. Stories describe them as being much shorter than the average person, and the village's architecture is frequently used to support these claims. The small dwellings are built close to each other in dirt hollows on the hill's slopes. Most adults have to stoop or crawl to get through their tiny doorways, which are just 5 feet, or 1.5 meters high, and their rooms frequently have ceilings no higher than 6 feet, or 1.7 meters. The building materials were acquired directly from the surrounding nature, with the principal components being dirt and stone. Natural materials not only provided thermal bulk, but also blended in with the scenery, making it difficult to distinguish the settlement from the mountains from afar. Makhunik is surrounded by grassless mountains, making it an isolated region where you can live for generations without being spotted. The roofs, consisting of wooden beams coated in layers of soil, added insulation to the homes while also serving as a platform for storage or sleeping areas. The village's layout reflects a communal lifestyle, with homes close together and often sharing walls. The precise age of Makhunik's village is unknown, however it is thought to have historical origins dating back centuries, potentially to the pre-Islamic era. The village's dwarf construction earned it the nickname Lilliputian's Land, with analogies to the Lilliput city portrayed in Jonathan Swift's renowned novel, Gulliver's Travels. Such descriptions have fostered speculation and curiosity, attracting both travelers and scholars to this isolated corner of the planet, anxious to discover the truth behind the stories. In 2005, the discovery of a mummified body no longer than 10 inches in this section of Iran reignited interest in the mythology surrounding the ancient city of dwarfs. Many people believe this was proof that this was truly an isolated dwarf village. Although experts have concluded that the mummy was a preterm baby who died approximately 400 years ago, they argue that the people of Makhunik were significantly shorter than average. These folks were of Afghan origin and had moved to the area some 100 years ago. Malnutrition caused by harsh arid conditions was the main factor affecting the height of Makhunik's former inhabitants. The shortage of resources resulted in a diet based primarily on the limited produce that could be grown in such conditions, which included turnips, maize, barley, and juju, a date-like fruit. This limited diet, while resourceful, lacked the diversity and nutrients required for normal growth, contributing significantly to the village's historical small stature. According to scholars, the people were about 1.5 feet shorter than the average person at the time. Furthermore, the villagers were cut off from the rest of the world since Makhunik was difficult to reach, especially in winter. This resulted in the marriages being restricted to villagers alone, which would eventually cause a genetic bottleneck. When genetic variety is greatly diminished and some features, like small stature, become more prominent in the community. This, combined with a diet deficient in the vitamins and minerals required for growth and development, would have increased the condition. Furthermore, the presence of mercury in drinking water from neighboring mines may have hampered physical development and contributed to health problems that altered stature, as mercury is a powerful neurotoxic. All of these circumstances combined to produce a particular physiological profile for Makhunik residents, distinguishing them in terms of height from other populations of the time. In the mid-20th century, Makhunik people gained access to components from other parts of Iran, such as rice and chicken, thanks to the development of highways and automobiles. Although most of Makhunik's 700 citizens are now of average height, remnants of their ancestors' lower statures remain. However, the height of the occupants was not the true cause for the architectural peculiarities of the dwellings in Makhunik. Within this historic village, roughly 200 stone and clay homes constitute the core of its residential sections, with 70 to 80 being particularly low. The short construction time of these small homes was driven by both practicality and necessity. Due to the village's seclusion and a scarcity of domestic animals capable of transporting materials, people were forced to manually bring building supplies across long distances. Smaller dwellings required fewer materials, easing the physical burden on the villagers. The houses all have distinct dimensions and sizes. The majority of the dwelling's walls are curved and round, with other rooms being rectangular, semicircular, and triangular. Most Makhunik dwellings have only one room, which leads directly to the tiny alleys. These compact constructions were easy to heat in the winter and cool in the summer, but due to a lack of firewood, residents in the area struggled to keep their houses warm. These constructions' thick clay walls and narrow openings make them perfect for dealing with high-temperature variations. Similar construction techniques may be found throughout Iran and Central Asia, where environmental adaptation is an important aspect of architectural design. However, the high level of downsizing witnessed in Makhunik's homes separates it. The settlement of Makhunik has evolved over time, with modern buildings taking on more traditional sizes to meet modern lives. The original dwarf cottages continue to captivate tourists, providing insight into a way of life influenced by nature and human inventiveness. Because the floor is around 3 feet or 1 meter below ground level, entering one of these houses involves descending 1 or 2 steps. The reason for this architectural choice is to take advantage of the Earth's natural insulation, resulting in a comfortable living environment all year. Each dwelling can house a man, 2 or 3 wives, and 3 to 8 children. Meanwhile, there was a small living area known as the sitting rooms where they could entertain their guests. This area, which was about 100 square feet, included a khandik for storing wheat and other grains, a clay stove for cooking, and a sleeping area. The furnishings in these homes are simple yet functional. Hand-woven carpets and cushions made from local materials serve as seating and sleeping surfaces. Storage is cleverly integrated into the framework of the residences, with all necessary items hung from the walls or put in niches. Makhunik's peculiar seclusion not only maintained its architectural glories, but also fostered a cultural character different from larger Iranian and Afghan communities. The most surprising cultural quirk was a dislike for tea, which is a staple of Iranian cuisine and hospitality. The local elders recall that drinking tea was not common during their upbringing and was often mocked. Those who were spotted drinking tea were labeled as addicts, likely due to the common belief that opium users consume a lot of tea. Makhunik's population is made up entirely of Muslims, both Sunni and Shiite, who coexist peacefully. Pasturing animals is the primary source of income for the village's population. They rely on agriculture to some extent. Their agricultural goods include wheat, garlic, turnip, beetroot, carrot, tomato, onion, and saffron. Some of the villagers labor at a mine near Makhunik. The women of the community weave carpets. They also drew water from local springs before the hamlet developed a sanitation system. In general, employment is scarce in Makhunik, forcing many people to rely on government subsidies for subsistence. Drought has reduced the village's agricultural output in recent years. The lack of resources has prompted the younger generation to look for chances outside of the town, moving into adjacent cities in quest of work. Their excursions are driven by necessity to help their community by sending back money and supplies. This demonstrates the village's strong kinship. Despite these hurdles, the Makhunik community remains optimistic. The village's rich architectural legacy and old landscapes may attract visitors from abroad, potentially leading to new employment opportunities and economic growth. The potential for tourism to improve the village's fortunes is a source of hope, pointing to a future in which Makhunik's cultural and historical richness serves as a catalyst for its resurrection. Many domestic and foreign tourists are currently visiting the village, and it is regarded as one of the target villages for tourists traveling to southern Khorasan. To boost tourism in the village, the Iranian government funded a project to restore walls, reinforce foundations and roofing, and modify water channels. recent improvements to the community, including paved roads, water, and electricity, have significantly impacted people's lives. There is also a health clinic, a primary school, and a supermarket. Every year, the village welcomes approximately 8,000 domestic tourists and a few hundred foreign visitors. If you want to visit the village, the ideal time to go is in the spring because the weather is hot in the summer and extremely cold in the winter. As Makhunik's architectural masterpieces stand the test of time, we may appreciate the locals' deep grasp of the environment and devotion to sustainable living. Beyond the mythology of dwarves, the true beauty of Makhunik is its ability to adapt and prosper in a harsh environment, sustaining a way of life that teaches us about human tenacity and ingenuity. Thanks for joining me on this journey, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content. Where should we explore next?